Welcome back. Last time, we got into the nitty-gritty of how language models actually work. Today, we're tackling a really interesting twist in the story of AI. A paradox, really. Why is it that the future of artificial intelligence might actually be, well, smaller? For the better part of a decade, the entire AI industry was marching to the beat of a single, very powerful, and honestly, a very simple idea about how to achieve true machine intelligence. You got it. That simple idea, bigger is better, kicked off a full-blown arms race. Companies started pouring everything into building these colossal models with hundreds of billions, sometimes even trillions of parameters. You know the big names, right? Like GPT-4 and Claude 3. And for a long time, it seemed to be true. More parameters just meant more intelligence. So that brings us to the big question. If giant AI is the obvious path forward, why is everyone suddenly talking about making them smaller? Let's really get into this, because the answer is going to show us the new frontier of AI and why the most exciting stuff is now happening in models that can literally fit on your phone. To really get why this shift is so important, we have to rewind a bit and understand why AI got so ridiculously big in the first place. This whole obsession with scale wasn't random. It was actually the result of a massive breakthrough. So, for decades, AI moved from these really rigid, rule-based systems to more flexible statistical models. But the game completely changed in the 2010s. The real catalyst was the invention of the transformer architecture back in 2017. That kicked off what we now call the generative scaling era. Researchers discovered that if they just kept making these models bigger and bigger, they started developing these incredible new abilities. It almost seemed like magic. But, as you might guess, this relentless chase for bigger and bigger models quickly slammed into some very real and very, very expensive physical limits. That bigger is better mantra, well, it came with some hidden costs that the industry just couldn't ignore anymore. The industry basically hit what you could call the scaling wall, and it's a barrier made of four huge problems. First, the cost. Training these things ballooned into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Second, the energy use was just astronomical. Third, latency. That annoying delay between your question and the answer made them useless for anything that needed to happen in real time. And finally, privacy. Industries like healthcare or finance just can't risk sending sensitive data to some third-party cloud server. And let's talk about the environmental cost, because it's pretty staggering. Just to train one model, GPT-3 pumped out 552 tons of carbon dioxide. That kind of carbon footprint was becoming totally unsustainable as the models just kept getting larger. And here's the kicker. It wasn't just the one-time training cost. Just using these giant models, running a single query, uses about 10 times more energy than a standard Google search. Now imagine scaling that up across the entire globe. You can see how that becomes a massive operational headache. So with all these hard limits closing in, the big question became, how do we get smarter without just getting bigger? And the solution didn't come from building bigger data centers or more powerful computer chips. No, it came from a fundamental breakthrough in understanding how these AIs actually learn. Okay, so for a long time, the whole industry was following this one rulebook, basically. It was based on research from OpenAI, known as the Kaplan Law, and it pretty much said, when in doubt, just build a bigger model. But then, in 2022, everything got flipped on its head. Researchers at DeepMind dropped this bombshell study called Chinchilla, and it changed everything. They proved that most of these giant models were actually being undertrained. For the best possible performance, the secret wasn't just a bigger model, it was about balance. You have to scale the model size and the training data in equal proportion. And what that meant was a huge shift in focus. Suddenly, it was all about data quality instead of just sheer quantity. Microsoft's Phi models are the perfect example of this. They trained a smaller model on a much better diet of high-quality, textbook-style data, and they created a model that could actually outperform giants that were fed on messy, disorganized junk from all over the internet. Okay, so if the new goal is to make a smaller, smarter model, how in the world do engineers actually do that, right? How do you shrink an AI without making it dumber? Well, it turns out they have a brilliant toolkit with 3 core techniques.
It's basically a 3-step process. First, they use a big model to teach a smaller one. That's called knowledge distillation. Then, they trim away all the unnecessary connections from that student model. That's pruning. And finally, they compress all its knowledge using a technique called quantization.
Knowledge distillation is just incredible. It's like having an expert teacher who doesn't just give a student the final answer, but shows them their entire thought process. The big teacher model shares its reasoning, all the different probabilities it considered, and that allows the little student model to soak up about 90% of the teacher's ability, but with only 10% of its size. It's genius. Next up is pruning, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. Think of a gardener trimming a tree. It turns out that these huge neural networks are often massively overbuilt. Engineers found they can go in and snip away up to 90% of the model's connections, the little pathways between its artificial neurons, without a major drop in performance. And that makes the model way faster and more efficient.
And the last tool in the box is quantization. Think of it like this. It's teaching the AI to write in shorthand. So instead of remembering a super precise number like 3.14159, it just rounds it to something simple like 3.14. Now, that might not sound like a big deal, right? But when you do that across billions of parameters, the memory savings are just massive. It's exactly how a really powerful model like Microsoft's Phi 3 Mini can go from 3.8 billion parameters to running on a regular smartphone using just 1.8 gigabytes of RAM. It's pretty incredible.
So, what does this massive shift actually mean for us in the real world? It means that AI is finally moving out of the distant, expensive cloud and onto the devices that we use every single day.
These small language models, or SLMs, are total game changers for a few key reasons. They make edge AI possible. That's AI that runs right on your device, giving you instant responses in your car or on a factory floor. They give you absolute privacy because your data never has to leave your phone. They slash operational costs, and they help create a much more sustainable green AI ecosystem.
And here's the really crucial part. These small models can be trained to become specialists that are way more accurate and efficient than the big generalist models. A small model that's been fine-tuned on legal documents will run circles around a generalist when it comes to analyzing a contract. A medical SLM can be far superior for specific diagnoses. They become these tiny, focused geniuses. So, you see, the very definition of what makes an AI intelligent is changing right before our eyes. We're moving away from this era of the giant, all-knowing AI monolith, and we're entering a new era of distributed, specialized, and hyper-efficient intelligence.
And that, of course, brings us to the next big question. Now that we've figured out how to shrink intelligence down to the size of a microchip, what's next? Well, in our next explainer, we're going to dive into how these tiny geniuses can collaborate and form a symphony of agents, working together to tackle problems that even the giants can't solve alone. See you then!